Dr. Hitesh Patel to please come over
Yes,
and
sir.
start his lecture on. Okay, Dr. Hitesh Patel is my friend. He's a star practitioner in Gujarat. He practices in a town called Morbi from Rajkot. Okay, and then he's known for continuously organizing some of the best attended workshops in a variety of topics from surgical to vestibular to everything. I now request Dr. Hitesh Patel. This was one. His way of dealing with the history and the amount of diagnostic points that you can get from history, the amount of insights that he can provide will be really, really great. So he is going to be talking about history.
Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you are audible. You can go ahead.
Sir, thank you, sir. First of all, I congratulate Dr. Manoj Agarwal, sir, for batting better than best than Sachin Tendulkar. Really appreciable.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Thank you so much. I'll just mute my mic so that I don't end up saying something. Thank you so much, sir.
First of all, I thankful Dr. Srinivas sir and whole Cyclops team to give me opportunity. Today's my topic is history taking in vertigo. Proper history and good clinical examination can provide a diagnosis in majority of patients. Always diagnose the cause and not merely suppress the symptoms. Each and every symptoms are very important to reach the exact diagnosis. Why is a good history important? Because patients with recurrent vertigo and dizziness are usually present to us in symptom-free interval. History taking is really more important than all available sophisticated investigations like VNG, VHIT, VAMP and MRI. Although at least minimum VNG is required for routine otoneurology practice. In vertigo, there is a no spot diagnosis like ear, throat and nose. So detailed history is very important. Generic term used to describe a variety of experience by patients are so many like tilting, dizzy, rocking, fainting, spinning, light-headed, reeling, off balance, woozy, giddy, ataxia, vertigo, wobbly, unsteadiness, fogginess, heavy-headed. After hearing so many terminology, doctor become confused which direction he has to go. To avoid this confusion, give time and let the patient talk. Most common diagnosis in vertigo are 10. Most common diagnosis 10. Vestibular migraine, BPPV, Meniere's disease, vestibulopathy, vestibular neuronitis, labyrinthitis, psychological vertigo, phobic postural vertigo, central vertigo, vestibular paroxysmia. Among these most common 10, two are very common, vestibular migraine and BPPV. In my practice, vestibular migraine and BPPV both are 40% diagnosis and rest of the diagnosis come in 20%. Today's my talk in two part. Part 1 is general history taking and part 2 is different history according to specific diseases. Silent features in history. We have to ask and inquire all these 15 points in each and every patient to reach the diagnosis. Recurrent, whether disease vertigo is recurrent or persistent, history of unconsciousness and fall, drug prolonged use and anti-vertigo drug use. There is a different history in peripheral and central vertigo. History in peripheral and central vertigo. Progression of problem, like vertigo is improving over a time, whether it is deteriorating or is stabilized. Degree of disability. There are certain warning alarms that we have to inquire and go for MRI if warning alarms are present. We have to inquire for associated symptoms and other diseases. Collective contribution from all these 15 points in history, we can reach the diagnosis. First is type of dizziness. 4 types of dizziness: true vertigo, faintness, imbalance, and psychogenic dizziness. Type 1 true vertigo, spinning or rotatory sensation aggravated by head movements. Root cause of true vertigo, spinning vertigo is vestibular system, whether it is peripheral or central. Faintness, feeling blackening, most common causes are cardiac, migraine, and metabolic cause. Imbalance, means sensation of falling or losing balance. Most common cause is neurological disorders, so it mandates careful neurological examination. Fourth is psychogenic, multiple wake complaints of patient are present in proportion to findings. Then presentation of dizziness, how patient present to us. Rotational vertigo with non-position related, rotatory feelings with non-position related. Then most common diagnoses are vestibular neuronitis, labyrinthitis, Meniere's disease, and central vertigo. Rotatory vertigo, position related. Then most common three diagnoses: BPPV, vestibular migraine, central positional vertigo. Feeling of faint, migraine. Feeling of unsteadiness without rotatory vertigo. Then most common diagnosis is vestibulopathy, cerebellar and other central causes, and neuromuscular causes. Non-specific dizziness, non-specific complaint, it may be psychogenic. Trigger factors. There are various trigger factors, like if vertigo is present at rest, then most common diagnosis is acute vestibular neuronitis, vestibular migraine, Meniere's disease. Complaint while only on walking, then diagnose. While turning head to the side, vestibular paroxysmia. Changing head position relative to gravity. Common diagnoses are 3: BPPV, vestibular migraine, central positional vertigo. Only on supine position, BPPV. Bending down, lateral canal BPPV. Looking up, it may be posterior canal BPPV. Traveling in air, bus and train, motion sickness, on coughing, pressing, loud sound, and Valsalva, perilymphatic fistula, and superior semicircular canal dehiscence syndromes. Context dependent intensity, worsening in certain social or environmental situations. Then phobic postural vertigo, complaints while only in elevators or closed spaces, panic attack, psychological. Sometimes there is a no trigger known, patient not giving any information about trigger, then we have to depend on other history factors. Duration of events. The patient present with complaint of few seconds to minute. Then common diagnosis is BPPV, migraine, perilymphatic fistula, vestibular paroxysmia. When complaints of several minutes to 1 hour. Meniere's disease, migraine, posterior transient ischemic attack, perilymphatic fistula. When complaints present for hours, then common diagnoses are Meniere's, migraine, perilymphatic fistula, acoustic neuroma. When complaint persists for few days, then common diagnoses are vestibular neuronitis, labyrinthitis, stroke, migraine, multiple sclerosis, central CNS. See, in all these few seconds, minutes, hours, days, migraine is present in all these situations. Migraine usually, always, migraine has a very atypical history in each and every points in history. When complaint persists for weeks, then it may be psychogenic or central vertigo. If psychogenic, then vertigo is constant, lasting for weeks without improvement. Long-standing vertigo, if worsening, vertigo is worsening day by day, then most probably is central vertigo. This point is very important. When patient present to us with vertigo since weeks or many times, we have always asked the patient whether it is condition is stable or it become worsening day by day. If worsening day by day, then we have to go for MRI. Complaint persists for months to years. Postural imbalance. Most common causes of postural imbalance are bilateral vestibulopathy, phobic vertigo, and central vertigo. Then recurrent vertigo. When past history of vertigo is also present, then with hearing loss and without hearing loss. If recurrent attacks of vertigo with hearing loss. Then most common diagnosis is Meniere's disease and vestibular migraine. Less common are perilymphatic fistula, CP angle and temporal bone tumors, and autoimmune disease of the inner ear. Recurrent attacks of vertigo without hearing loss. Then BPPV, vestibular migraine, most common. Metabolic vertigo, paroxysmal vertigo of childhood, central vertigo, toxic vestibulopathy like aminoglycoside. In vestibular paroxysmia, patient present with hearing without hearing loss. If cross compressions is occur at the distal part, then patient present with hearing loss. Again, here see, migraine has a very atypical history. Migraine may be present with hearing loss and also without hearing loss. Chronic persistent dizziness means primary symptoms related to body posture, more severe while walking or standing, and lesser complaints while sitting and almost absent in recumbent posture. Most common diagnoses of chronic persistent dizziness are bilateral vestibulopathy, neurological disorders, or psychological. Sustained rotatory vertigo, acute peripheral loss of vestibular function or pontomedullary brainstem lesions near the vestibular nuclei. Peripheral cause and central cause. Peripheral cause of sustained rotatory vertigo are vestibular neuronitis, labyrinthitis, autoimmune inner ear disease, acoustic neuroma, labyrinthine infarction, labyrinthine concussion. Central causes are multiple sclerosis, tumor, brainstem infarction. History of fall, ipsiversy fall and controversy fall. Sorry. Ipsiversy fall, vestibular neuronitis and BPPV, while controversy fall, autolytic Tullio phenomenon and vestibular epilepsy. Migraine, again very atypical history. Migraine patient can fall to any side. Migraine is always atypical history, but common. History of unconsciousness, seizure, stroke, TIA, epilepsy, CNS lesions, vasovagal, low blood sugar, orthostatic hypotension, low blood pressure, cardiac arrhythmia, dehydration, shock, drug overdose, and alcohol. Associated symptoms, ear symptoms. Tinnitus is present, then most common for diagnosis. Meniere's disease, migraine, acoustic neuroma, vestibulopathy. Patient present with deafness and without deafness, we already discussed. Fullness in the ear, then common is Meniere's. History of ear discharge, then common is labyrinthitis, neuronitis, or perilymphatic fistula. History of ear surgery, then perilymphatic fistula. Vegetative symptoms, if nausea and vomiting is always history of head injury. If history of head injury is present, then most common three diagnoses: bilateral vestibulopathy, BPPV, and perilymphatic fistula. But in head injury, post head injury, BPPV is always most of the cases multi-canal BPPV. So we have to treat each canal turn by turn. Neurological disorders, whether there is any gross weakness, loss of sensation in upper lower limb of body is present or not. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes mellitus, history of hypertension, smoking, then there is chances of ischemic central lesions. Cervical pain in case of cervicogenic vertigo, eye disorders, blurring of vision, double visions in case of central vertigo, recent changes of spectacles. So I have seen only one patient. Patient complains of sensation of imbalance in recent changes of spectacles sometime. Drug history, drug prolonged use. Ototoxic drugs causing bilateral vestibulopathy. So we have to inquire about the ototoxic drug, whether patient is taking or not, like quinine, nicotine, caffeine, salicylate, streptomycin, gentamicin, contraceptives, sedatives, psychiatric drug, alcohol, diuretics, or muscle relaxant. Anti-vertigo drug used by patient or not, like beta-estine, cinnarizine, chlorperazine, promethazine, dimenhydrinate. Why this history is important? This history is important for two reasons. because we cannot give anti-vertigo drug for more than 3 to 5 days without any established diagnosis. And also, sometimes, second one, sometimes we have to stop the anti-vertigo drug before doing VNG, before 24 hours of doing VNG in some patients. Now, different history according to different diseases. BPPV, sudden onset during supine position or from supine to sitting positions. Latent period for onset of vertigo is 1 to 30 seconds. Last for few seconds only, but remember, in lateral canal BPPV, it may last for more than 1 minute also. Rotatory vertigo always, not associated earache tinnitus, hearing loss, heaviness of ear. Meniere's disease, usually episodic, 2 or more past attack history is present, associated almost always with tinnitus, ear fullness, and decreased hearing, usually with nausea and vomitings, last for few minutes to hours. Rotatory vertigo, not related to any particular position of body. Vestibular neuronitis, viral infection, inflammation of vestibular nerve. Most patients have a history of rhinitis or LRTI. Sudden onset, usually severe vertigo, nausea, vomiting. Severe vertigo. Here, patient complains of severe vertigo that he can't stand up. He feels that he has drunk the alcohol like that. Last for few days to months. Unsteadiness remain for few days after giddiness gone. Usually rotatory vertigo is present for 3 to 5 days in case of vestibular neuronitis after 3 to 5 days. Unsteadiness remain for few days if we not start immediately vestibular rehabilitation therapy. So here is the very much importance of starting the vestibular rehabilitation therapy in case of vestibular neuronitis as soon as possible. No hearing loss usually, and usually no past history of vertigo. This point is very important in case of vestibular neuronitis. No past history of vertigo. Why? Because we have and in migraine usually there is a past history of attacks is present, but in vestibular neuronitis usually there is a no past history of vertigo. So this point is very important when we have a confusion between these three. Labyrinthitis, inflammation of inner ear, usually associated with hearing loss and tinnitus. Rest of the things same as vestibular neuronitis. Vestibular migraine, very common. In my practice, 40% of patients are of vestibular migraine. Diagnosis is only on with history. Vertigo may or may not be associated with headache. Aura, headache, photophobia, phonophobia is present. Vertigo associated with head movement. When patient complains that, sir, when I move my head, I feel blackening. Tinnitus may be present because of inner ear vessel spasm. Here in migraine also, there may be a tinnitus. So we have always confusion with Meniere's disease. To avoid this confusion here, very important role of VNG. In case of vestibular migraine, there is a vertical nystagmus is present. In most patients, there is a upbeating nystagmus. While in case of Meniere's disease, there is a usually horizontal nystagmus. So here, very important role of VNG when tinnitus is present and we have confusion between vestibular migraine and Meniere's. History of repeated attack is present. Family history of headache and migraine present. Very important because almost 40% of patients of vestibular migraine have a no headache. Then we should inquire about the family history, particularly in mother. There is in most of the patient in mother having a family history of headache and migraine. Trigger factors like sleep deprivations, exposure to sunlight, eating specific things, exposure to stress, and menstruation. Types of vertigo, again, very atypical in case of migraine. Some patients have a only blackening, some patients have a rotatory vertigo, and some patients have a mixed rotatory with blackening. In my experience, my patients, more than 70% patients have a mixed rotatory with blackening in case of vestibular migraine. Duration, again, very atypical. Few patients have only vertigo, few seconds to minutes to hours. Again, in migraine, type of vertigo is also atypical and duration is atypical, remember. Vestibulopathy, age-related disturbance of balance system, age-related hearing loss is present, complaints of sensation of imbalance, sensation of falling or losing balance, no rotatory vertigo. Remember, vestibulopathy patient usually present to us after so many years or so many months taking treatments from physicians, neurophysicians. They are taking on and off anti-vertigo drugs from physicians, neurophysicians. Remember, if no rotatory vertigo, then no anti-vertigo medicines. When vestibulopathy, usually vestibulopathy patients present to us as a ENT after so many months of complaint. So please don't prescribe anti-vertigo drug in no rotatory vertigo patient. In case of vestibular, stop anti-vertigo medicines and start vestibular rehabilitation therapy. Imbalance is worse in dark and where footing is uncertain, uneven ground. Movement-induced blur vision or oscillopsia present. No symptoms, usually no symptoms while sitting or lying down under static conditions. More complaint while in walking. Psychological vertigo, the history of psychiatric diseases usually presents. No vertiginous dizziness persists for months or years, present throughout the day with waxing and waning in severities. Usually patient wake up well, but symptoms worse post breakfast. Complaints are vague, numerous, and out of proportion to findings. Usually, there is a family history of stress and anxiety is also present in pediatric patients. Complain most of the time at school going time or at school. Remember, in pediatric patient, most common diagnoses are two: psychological vertigo and migraine. Symptoms worse while patients sit idle and no or less complaints while busy with work, less with reclining position. Here also in psychological vertigo, there is a very important role of VNG. In psychological vertigo, VNG is usually normal. Phobic postural vertigo, trigger factors that onset phobic postural vertigo are: phobic postural vertigo occurs as a consequence of past vestibular disorders and stressful life events. Obsessive personality is present, fluctuating in nature. It is difficult to walk in darkness, afraid to look at left and right in a jiffy to cross the road. Dizziness increase in crowded place, empty room, departmental store. There is a fear of height is present, fear of falling, but no history of fall. Very important. No history of fall. Patient have a fear of falling. This point is also very important in history taking. Now there are different history features in peripheral and central vertigo. Onset of vertigo: in central vertigo, onset is usually gradual, except in vascular cause. And peripheral vertigo onset is acute. Duration: usually central vertigo is longer and peripheral vertigo is shorter in durations. Triggered by postural changes, rare in central vertigo, common in peripheral vertigo. Nausea, vomiting, moderate in central vertigo, peripheral vertigo, nausea, vomiting is severe. Auditory symptoms uncommon in central vertigo, peripheral vertigo common. Rotatory symptoms less common, peripheral vertigo most common. Imbalance severe in central vertigo and peripheral vertigo mild. So in central vertigo, most common complaint is imbalance, while in peripheral vertigo, common complaint is rotatory feelings. Remember. Progression of problem. In peripheral disorders and because of central compensatory mechanism, or at least don't show worsening, while in central lesions mostly complaint is permanent. Patient in between period, in between there is a no normal period, usually in central lesions, mostly permanent and may progress to deteriorating over a time depending upon the cause. Degree of disability in central lesions. In central lesions, patient needs support to stand, while in peripheral lesions, usually patient is able to stand and walk without support. Warning alarms suggest central vestibular disease or brainstem lesions. These warning alarms are persistent vertigo with increased severity day by day. In history taking, this point is very important. ataxia, persistent nausea and vomiting, severe headache, vision loss, diplopia, slurred speech. If we can find these warning alarms, then we have to go for MRI. Consider the life of patient condemned to life with an unresolved permanent dizziness. The most important cause for this situation is not spending enough time with the patient to get a thorough history. Please spend time with patient of minimum 8 to 10 minutes to get a history. Please do not hesitate to ask a leading questions and when dealing with patients of vertigo or dizziness and unbox the diagnosis. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. That was very, very comprehensive. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir.
Just I have a comment, Sir Inbaz, if you don't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Hatish, for this comprehensive presentation. Just I have a few comments. Your presentation is really excellent.
Thank you, sir.
All the symptoms are weighted to the same degree. So like, and it is the most important in the diagnostic workup of vertigo. So I fully agree, and I thank you for stressing the importance of history taking.
Thank
but
you, sir.
not all the symptoms are weighted the same. So like
Yes,
if
sir.
the patient he complained from diplopia or like a circumoral or a hemifacial numbness, you compare it to just has a more subjective sense of dizziness or no. So we have you put this in alarming signs, but also not all the symptoms are weighted the same. The second point that some misconceptions are present among the clinicians. First is that people think that bilateral vestibulopathy should be bilateral and complete. No, in reality, it can be bilateral but asymmetrical. So you have some more residual function in one side more than the other. And
Yes,
those, and I have seen many cases, they can present also by vertigo. So we don't have to be very sharp and rigid in making frames for all the diseases. We have to keep some flexibility. Second point that also, like in cases of vestibular neuritis, sometimes they could preceded by what is called the prodroma. So minor attacks can precede the vestibular neuritis. So having minor attacks in the week before the vestibular neuritis or the few days before the vestibular neuritis does not exclude the diagnosis of vestibular neuritis. They have been reported and they have been called prodroma or vestibular prodroma. One more thing is that is the concomitant occurrence of different diseases. Literature has shown clearly the relation between BPV and migraine, has shown the very strong coincidence of migraine and Meniere's disease. And I have seen, like in BPV with vertebrobasilar insufficiency. So just we need some more flexibility in taking the history and interpreting the finding. Don't exclude just based on the history. Be more flexible, open-minded. I know that you want very narrow differential diagnosis, but also keep some opportunity because of the coincidence of different conditions. And before of sometimes the presentation is not that very typical. There is individual variation. Some people, they got the same condition, but you find different symptoms than the others. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
All what we need just to be more flexible, more open-minded, and to reweight the overall picture. We have to reweight or emphasize the overall picture and not to be rigid by excluding some differential diagnosis just because it does not follow exactly the pattern shown. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Hitesh, sir, can you stop sharing the screen, sir, so that we can?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.